So when clients choose Dilapsolutions, from the initial inquiry stage to the conclusion of the particular instruction, this will be overseen by a chartered surveyor. A chartered surveyor has two disciplines. One is a valuation surveyor who deals with the Section 18 diminution value angle. The other one is a chartered building surveyor who deals with the pathology of the building, the strict repairs, reinstatement and redecoration liabilities. So they will look at the particular repair methodology and the cost to be applied. The valuation surveyor will look at the impact on the particular property's value. A client will contact us through the general inquiries, and that will be picked up by myself or one of my colleagues, who again I emphasise will be a chartered surveyor. The inquiry may well be, I have a dilapidations claim, how can you help me? Or it could also be, I have an upcoming lease expiry, what is your advice? And we're quite happy to provide an initial overview, an initial review, an initial advice prior to gaining the instruction. So that advice may well be, you've got an upcoming lease expiry, let's have a look at your potential dilapidations liability. We can assess that from both the building surveyors and the valuation surveyor perspective, and then we may well agree that certain works are undertaken prior to the lease expiry to minimise the claim that the landlord ultimately serves. So that could be implementing a series of works, tendering the works, arranging for contractors to undertake the works, therefore minimising the claim when the dilapidations ultimately comes to the door from the landlord. We will then provide the advice on when they receive the schedule, because invariably, even when tenants have done the works, a landlord will still serve a schedule of dilapidations. So we can then provide advice to see through the whole process and agree the dilapidation schedule. Active for landlords may well be a similar approach. A landlord may well come to us and approach us and say, I have a lease coming up in 6 months. My tenants indicated they're not going to renew and they're going to vacate. Could you provide us with advice on what to do? So again, it will be reviewing the lease documentation, looking at the tenant's obligations. Are there specific reinstatement obligations? Is there a timeline to issue a reinstatement notice? And ultimately preparing a detailed schedule of dilapidations along with a Section 18 valuer's overview to look at the ways that, if we're acting for a landlord, what approach a tenant might take to minimise a loss, because the landlord may well feel they have a dilapidations claim, but are not obviously aware of the potential defence that a tenant may well utilise to minimise their liability. So the fact that we act on behalf of both landlords and tenants enables us to provide a landlord with that type of advice. So we could say, this is the common law, the building surveyor's scheduled dilapidations, this is strictly speaking the tenant's liability. But if we were acting for the tenant on mitigating this claim, we may well argue that X, Y, and Z does not have any impact on value and therefore does not impact the claim. So by forewarning the landlord, we can provide them with a realistic, range on where the claim could sit.